With it being the end of hay season, I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to talk about how we did as a farm this season, and is it profitable, and does it make sense to start a hay operation in 2025 going into 2026. I started farming 4 years ago in 2021, and I can say that this year, 2025, was the hardest year I've had so far making hay. Not that we didn't make good hay, not that we didn't make a lot of it, but we encountered a lot of breakdowns this year, specifically some that set us back a lot more than I would have liked to. On the other side, fertilizer and seed and all that kind of stuff is really expensive. Inputs are still really high. They have come down some since other years. At the beginning, when I started farming, it was more expensive. But in the grand scheme of things, compared to kind of what we're making off of hay, fertilizer and inputs are still really, really high. So this year, between inputs and unexpected breakdowns, it caused a little bit more struggle this year and just kind of set us back a little bit more than we would have liked to. So how did we do in 2025? Well, up in the barn from the beginning to about now, there was probably around $50,000 worth of inventory up in that barn. In the grand scheme of things, not terrible. We were able to make quite a bit of hay. We had some hay that got rained on, some hay that, was hay, but we also made quite a bit of really nice hay, including the alfalfa field behind me. We have some alfalfa and some grass here at the home farm that did really, really well. Given the really wet spring that we had, and we were able to make some really nice hay. Mind you, these are ballpark numbers. I'm not going into complete specifics, but kind of just to give you an idea of what an operation of this size does, that's kind of what we did this year. Now, with the equipment that we have, we can do more. It's really just kind of a building game at this point, slowly acquiring ground to farm, fine-tuning our farming practices, our fertilizer program, how much can we grow on an acre? We are growing more on an acre now than we did at the very beginning. There's also a mouse at my feet right now. So like I said, we can do more with the equipment we have. It's just a growing process. In 2021, when we started farming, we did it with the idea and the vision that, 5 years, 10 years from now, we're going to be farming a lot more ground than we are now. The equipment that we purchased was in an expectation of that. Last year we got a 6-star tedder. That increased our efficiency this year big time. Number one, because it's a bigger tedder. Number two, because it is a cart transport. So going down the road was so much more time saving. It was so much more efficient. And yeah, just in the field, we were able to run 50% faster or do 50% more acres in the same amount of time. Yes, we did okay given the circumstances this year. Really wet spring, a lot of breakdowns, roughly $50,000 in inventory. Now, $50,000 is not a lot of money when you zoom out and look at it, as an operation and as me as an individual. It's not enough money to pay myself a year's wages, and it's not enough money to necessarily completely support the farming operation. So I personally have to supplement my income in a couple of other areas. One of the ways is this YouTube channel. So you guys watching this are helping kind of support the idea and the dream of this farm, and I want to thank you for that. I have to supplement my income a couple other ways at this stage in the farm. This is year 4 of the operation, but we are well on our way to growing the operation to where, I can make it a full-time thing. So that's how the farm did this year. Is it profitable to start a hay operation in 2025, 2026? I'm going to say this. Yes, it is. Because, like I said earlier, I do not subscribe to the ideology that farmers can't make money. Farmers, though things are really difficult sometimes, prices are high, all that stuff aside, you can make money and you have to be creative. The old ways of doing farming are not profitable anymore. You can't necessarily just go out, buy a combine, a planter, and a tractor and all these other little things, just plant some corn and soybeans and expect to make a good profit. Right now, some would classify us in a farm crisis with the commodity prices and prices of equipment and labor and inputs. So it's really difficult to make money cash cropping. So that was kind of the idea back when we started farming. We knew that, hey, cash cropping, it's really hard to get into, and because it's a commodity market, and the level of capital that we needed to kind of do that was going to be honestly astronomical. Hay farming was a lot more reasonable to get into. The equipment isn't super expensive. We had ground here on the farm, enough ground to actually start making some decent hay. And it's a commodity market, but it's a local commodity where I get to set my own prices, depending on how well my marketing skills are, how well or how strong the market in the area is, and how good of a product I can make. And so that's kind of the reason we went with haymaking and not cash cropping, because I can market my own product and I control the quality for the most part, unless Mother Nature says I can't. So would I recommend getting into farming? Yes, absolutely I would. And I would do it 100 times over again if given the opportunity, which I'm still farming. I'm not going anywhere. But if I was someone like you watching this video, yes, 100% I would start farming. I would start a hay operation. But obviously, do your research. You have to figure out, one, what your market is. Two, what kind of hay are you going to be making if you decide to go the hay route? And three, are you going to be someone who has a whole lot of capital and can invest in some nice equipment? Or are you someone that's going to have to invest in used equipment and learn how to wrench on your own thing? That's kind of the ballpark we're in right now. We don't run fancy equipment. My newest tractor is from the 90s. My newest piece of equipment happens to be the Tedder. It's 2019, but that is a pretty basic just piece of steel, no technology on it. My oldest tractor is this Case, which the camera is set up on right now. It's a 1968 and it's hooked up to a New Holland 316 baler back there, which is a 1980 something model. Our equipment's not new, it breaks often. I've learned how to wrench on it. That's how I started farming, and that's how I'm gonna continue to farm, probably for a while. If there's one piece of advice that I would have for someone who's starting a farming operation, it's number one, do not subscribe to the idea that you can't make money, because you definitely can make money. You may have to get creative and do things unorthodox, but you can for certain definitely make money farming. Number two, function over form is kind of something that I'm starting to think more in my head. You do not have to look like you have everything made. You don't have to look like a BTO out there you're driving the nicest tractor, the fanciest equipment, farming the biggest field or the most acres. Function over form. Make sure that your farm and your operation is first functional before you really start thinking about, oh, do I look good for the neighbors? Do the farmers down the road think that I'm a good operator? Like, do they think, oh, like this guy's legit, he has a cool farm? You should probably be more concerned about, hey, can I actually make my farm sustainable and profitable? That's what you should be focused on. And in this day and age, you're not going to be running the biggest and fanciest equipment right when you start out. I'm in year 4, and like I said, the newest piece of equipment is a 2019 Tedder, and it's just steel. I have no technology on my farm. It's just old horsepower and this brain up here that's trying to make some things pencil out. My third piece of advice is don't be afraid to get dirty and work hard. You're gonna have to at first, and obviously in any business you have to work hard all the time, but you may have to be actually like really getting dirty, really figuring stuff out. If you don't know how to work on your baler or your tractor, you might have to watch a YouTube video and just figure it out. I try to do that a lot of times. Sometimes I'm still not able to do that. Obviously, we had an equipment breakdown this year on the AGCO where a PTO clutch went out. I did not have the manpower or the ability or really the tools enough and the time to make that happen. I needed the tractor fixed ASAP, so I had to spend the money to get that repaired. Sometimes there's going to be those instances, but for the most part, if you can manage to fix your own stuff, that's a big plus. That'll save you a lot of money in the long run. That's all I got for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like it, leave a comment down below, give this video a like, subscribe, share this video with someone who might be thinking about starting a farming operation. And with that, guys, we will see you in the next one.